So hey guys, I'm going to do a quick fill-in lesson for algebra, and what we're going to talk about today is finding equivalent functions by replacing x with 2. So a big part of algebra is finding equivalent functions. And we're going to do a couple different things throughout the year, and I know you're going to do a couple of different things throughout the year where we solve and we find out how these functions are equivalent. One of the ways that we can do that is through the FOIL method. Another way though we can do is using the calculator. So today what I'm going to use is show you how to use the calculator to find out equivalent functions. So the way we're going to do that and what we're going to do is every time we see x, every time x shows up, we're going to replace it with parentheses to close parentheses. And we're going to find the matching ones. So I want to go ahead and do a couple of these with you, for you, and the rest of the assignment for this day is you are going to go ahead and do the rest of them. So even though this is calculator based, we still have to show work so I can know that you guys are doing it and you guys are entering these correctly. So I'll show you exactly what it looks like when we're showing work. So I have the calculator up. If you're on campus, I'll go ahead and help you pull this up. If you're not on campus, I'll put the link in the instructions. You can also pause the video right here and go ahead and enter that in. So we're going to go ahead and start. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to replace every single x that we see with the number 2. Well, parentheses to close parentheses. And so we're going to start with the original problem. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my calculator on, and I'm going to go ahead and enter this exactly how I see it. So I'm going to enter parentheses, 3, and now here's where that x comes up, and I'm not just going to put 2. What I'm going to make sure is I put parentheses to close parentheses. And then I'm going to continue the rest of it. So minus 2, close that parentheses, open a new one, and now we have x again. So I'm going to put in that same thing, parentheses, 2, close parentheses. So it's okay if these parentheses are back to back. I'm entering that exact thing every time I see x. Plus 13, and close the parentheses. So I've entered it and I've replaced x with 2. I'm going to go ahead and click enter. And it's going to give me a number, and that number is 60. So the way you're going to show work on here is you would put, next to the original problem, you would put the number 60. So now you know that when you replace x with 2, one of these is going to come out to 60. And that's the one that you're going to look for. That's the one that is equal. That's the one that is equivalent. And if you notice that root word for equivalent, equal. So that's the one we're looking for. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the answer choices. And I'm looking for the one that comes out to 60. So I'm going to clear my calculator. And I'm going to enter it in. We have 3. There's that x, so I'm going to do parentheses, 2, close the parentheses, and now we have this exponent. So if you forgot how to do this exponent on the calculator, what we have to do is we have to click this little triangle, and then we can put the exponent. So minus 37, and I have an x again, so I'm going to go ahead and put that parentheses, 2, close parentheses, and then I'm going to put minus 26, and I'm going to click enter. So what that's going to give me is negative 88. So even though this is calculator based, we can still show work. And showing work on this assignment will look like this. We're putting the answer that we get next to the answer choices. So that way I know you entered it onto your calculator correctly. So even if you got the answer, even if you knew it wouldn't match up to 60, let's say you put negative 70 or negative 100 or positive 3. That way I can see that these wrong answers are still practice for you to enter it correctly, and I can see that you're entering it incorrectly if the wrong answer isn't what it should be. So this is negative 88, and that doesn't match up with 60, so that's not what we're looking for. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing, except with answer choice B. So I'm gonna start by putting 4, and now I have this x, so I'm gonna replace that with parentheses 2, close parentheses, plus 39. I'm gonna do parentheses, and I actually did make a mistake right here, and if you caught it before I said it, that's great. What we need to do, we need to make sure that we put that square root, and so once again, or that exponent, you put that triangle and then a 2. So then we're going to put 39 and fill in 2 for the x, and then we're going to minus 26. So when we click enter, we're going to get 68. And even though that's close to what we were supposed to get, it's not equal. So if someone has $68 and someone has $60, you wouldn't say that they have the same amount. So you know that's not right. Now, even though we know there's only one option left, and we know it's going to be C, we still want to do it. We want to make sure, just in case. Because if it turns out C doesn't match either, that means we did something wrong on these, and we'd have to retry it. I won't be there on STAR or EOC to tell you that you didn't enter one correctly. So if you get all of them and none of them match up with 60, that means you probably entered something wrong. So you wouldn't just guess, you'd go back and try it all again. It's really easy to make a simple mistake. So we're going to do the same thing. We have 3. I'm going to replace x with 2. And this time I'm not going to forget the exponent. Plus 37x, which I'm replacing with 2. And then minus 26. So that said 36, so once again, that's really easy to show that. You can click a wrong button and it can give you a completely different answer. So I changed it back to 26, how it should be, and I ended up getting 60. So I want to reread the question. Which function is equivalent to 60? And the one that comes out to 60 is going to be the correct answer. So all we're doing every time we see x is replacing it with parentheses to close parentheses. And once again, we're going to learn other mathematical ways throughout the year that you can do this, and the specific way is called FOIL. But for right now, we're just learning this one particular strategy where we can replace x with 2. And you can really replace x with anything. You can replace it with 4, you can replace it with 5, but you have to make sure that whatever number you pick, you have to use each time. So we're going to go ahead and go on to number 2. So I'm going to start by, once again, entering this number. And I'm going to replace it with 2. So we have 4, parentheses, 2, close parentheses. And that exponent, I got to make sure I've hit the triangle. And I realize I made a mistake on this, but I'll fix it before I give it to you guys. So there should be a plus right there. There should be a plus between the 4x and the 16. So plus 16, and it says x, so I'm going to replace that, parentheses 2, close parentheses, and then plus 16 again. So when it all comes out, it's going to give me 64. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show my work, and I'm going to write out exactly what I got. So I got 64. All right, and now I'm going to try the same thing with these answer choices. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. So I have parentheses. I'm working on answer choice A, 2 times 2 plus 4. Close that parentheses. I'm going to open a new one, 2 minus 4 See, it's really easy to miss a button and make mistakes, so make sure you're double checking what you're putting in. And we're going to click enter. So when I do that, I get 0. So I know that that is not the correct answer because it doesn't add up to 64. So I'm going to go ahead and try answer choice B. I have parentheses, parentheses 2, parentheses 2 plus 4, open parentheses 2, open another parentheses to replace x, and plus 4 again. So I'm going to click enter, and I'm going to get 64. So already I have a pretty good idea that this is going to be the correct answer because it matches, but I want to double check and make sure that I'm getting the right one. So I'm going to enter C and D as well. So I want to start with parentheses 4 parentheses 2 plus 1 2 plus 16, and I enter it and I get 162. I can see for sure that that one's way off. And lastly, I'm going to check D. So this one looks a little bit different, but we're still going to enter it the same way. We're just going to put 2. We're going to replace x with 2 minus 4. And now we just put the exponent at the end. And so once again with the exponents, we're going to hit this little triangle, put the exponent, and we're going to enter it. And so that will also give us 0. So if we're looking for which one is equivalent to 64, the correct answer choice would be B. So what I need you to do for the rest of the assignment, you're going to try problems 3, 4, 5, 6. So those 4 problems by yourself. And I need you to show work by writing next to each answer choice what you got. Alright, and so that'll help me see that if you're entering it incorrectly or if you're entering it incorrectly. And I'll post the instruction of where to email it to, and so it doesn't get buried in a bunch of other emails from 7th grade work and 8th grade work. And anytime somebody comments or turns something in on the Google Classroom, I get an email. So I'm going to post an email that I need you to send it to so I can make sure I see your work and it doesn't get buried underneath all the other stuff I have. So that's going to be Mr.Oates algebra homework at gmail.com, and I'm going to post that in the instructions. So once again, good luck. Make sure you're showing your work, and this is going to be the assignment for September 10th. So you're answering those 4 problems, 3, 4, 5, and 6.